So today I have here an extraordinary woman. She's very multifaceted. She's an entrepreneur, a nurse practitioner, and she also runs a nonprofit in her native home country of Liberia. Many people might know her as Dorothy, but I know her as Auntie Jatu. This is Women's Month. We've been running a series on women who build, women who are resilient, and I'm so excited for you all to hear a little bit about her story. Thank you for speaking with us today.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be doing this.
I'm so excited for the people to hear about your story. So let's take it back. When you first came to America, did you know or did you picture yourself being an entrepreneur one day?
No, that was not within my genes. Um, I was fortunate. I always say that I would lift out of poverty into the middle class. And when I first came to America, I lived in Ohio, graduated high school there. I always wanted to be in the medical profession, but at the end, I became a nurse and then a nurse practitioner. But this was not my goal at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, so the next question I have for you is, what are some of the things that people might not realize that goes into running a laundromat?
I think there is a big myth. People come in to watch and they see people putting money in the machine or using a card, and they think, wow, I'm going to be able to do this one day, or I can do this one day. People ask me all the time. It takes a lot. It's a lot of responsibility. You have to be, it's more of a hands on unless you have it completely automated. If it is just a cash business, you have to be there. You have to be present, not present sometimes in person, but even when you go away, you have to be present in your business, because there are a lot of challenges that go with it. I think um, one of the things is that you have to have trustworthy people in your absence to make sure that they can do or run the business the way you want them to run it. If you were there, also you have a challenge, especially if you have the same business that surrounds you. Then people have um, the ability to go wherever they want to go, and I do understand that. But sometimes, even within your own culture, they tend to not support you. Um, so that's tough. And then you have to find other ways how to survive.
So I was trying to kind of get a number, like statistics, to see like how many laundromats are in Brooklyn. I was just
Oh
trying to
my
get
goodness.
the idea of it. I couldn't find a straight number,
Right.
but I saw that there's an estimate in New York City. This estimate on Manhattan, I think about two. The number was almost 3,000, almost
Yeah,
3,000.
probably more than that in Brooklyn. So in my area right now, it's just that some of them, because of the gentrification and new buildings going up, that some of them lost their lease. But just where I'm operating, we were actually three. There's one in the next block of me, and then there was one 2 blocks from me. The one 2 blocks from me closed because they took away. I guess they lost their lease or something. But I think it's more than 3,000 because I can, driving around Brooklyn, it seems like every street, or you will find a laundromat. There's one right off of Atlantic Avenue, off of Atlantic and Nostrum, and there was one on Franklin, just a couple of blocks from here. So it's pretty saturated.
Okay, so there's a lot.
Yeah,
But I would say your laundromat it's been 20 years now.
more than 20
More
years.
than 20 years.
Actually, I think we opened. I want to say 98. Yeah, been there more than 20 years. Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that a lot of the laundromats, you've seen some open and you've also seen some close.
Yes. There used to be, when we first opened, there used to be one on Franklin and Fulton. That one quickly closed. I don't know what happened to the owner, but It was there for a while, and then they closed it. Um, but there are others. There are others that are not too far from me either. One on Gates, one up there by Restoration. So there are many of them.
My other question is around entrepreneurship. We like there's a lot of statistics about how when people open business,
Mhm.
a lot of times they don't even make it past the first year.
That is so true. Um, and that's one of the things that people don't realize. You have to really be um, prepared. One of the challenges is that if you're renting and your business does not pick up in the first year, you're going to close. And I've seen many of that, businesses closing around here, not just Laundromat, but other businesses that people have opened since in the last year. They have closed because the rent is so high, and if your business doesn't pick up within that time frame, you will have to close. Fortunately for me, I own a house, so I never apply rent, from the laundry to the house, or because I think if I have done that, if I was anywhere else, I was not going to make it pass through the first year.
No.
Yeah, going to be hard because the water bill is extremely high, the light bill is extremely high, the gas bill is extremely high. People think you're making a lot of money. And then if you're going to pay rent, you're going to have to make, depending on how much the rent is, especially today, you probably have to make close to $10,000 to survive.
To run the business. And then
business
still have profit.
It's and still have some left over for you to do something.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a lot.
Yeah, it is.
You've been in Brooklyn. We're in the Bed-Stuy section of Brooklyn now for more than 20 years.
Yes.
How have you seen the neighborhood change from when you first came versus now?
Oh my goodness. It is huge. It is really huge. I remember when I first moved here in the early 80s, the crime rate was very, very high. There were drugs everywhere. That drove people away from the neighborhood, and you had a lot of buildings just closed. People were boarded up because of the drug pandemic. Now, if you look around now, and what a lot of the people did was just buy those buildings and boarded them up. So what you see today is that those buildings, those brownstones, are being torn down, and you have these huge buildings going up. It has really changed the landscape and the beauty of the area because the brownstone brought a different ambience to the area. Now we have these humongous buildings everywhere you turn, which I think sometimes, it just I don't know, makes it look a little bit too artificial from what we were used to. It was more of a community. Now you have more of like in the area for business. It's more of a business neighborhood now than it was before. Like you have single family homes or 2 or 3 family home. Now you have this huge building where you have a whole lot of people. But I guess everywhere you go, that's what you see.
Yeah, the change.
Money drives everything.
I think back then when you thought about Brooklyn, you think of the brownstone with the stoop and people sit on it.
Yes. Yeah. In the summertime, people grilling or whatever it is, they have their music. You can't see that now. No. Very rarely would you see stuff like that. But everywhere now, it's just huge buildings that really changed the neighborhood.
Another question I have is regarding how do you manage to do it all? Like full time, then you have an entrepreneur life.
Well,
how do you manage?
I think it stems from your upbringing. I say to people, I say to colleagues on my job all the time that when I was 3 or 4 years old, we have our little buckets to go to the creek to bring water. So that here you would think, okay, you're abusing a child. But when you look at different cultures, how different cultures bring their children up, they start from a very early age. They're not making you to do work that grown up is doing, but they're teaching you along the way how to survive. And I think that what was instilled in me from the time I was young gave a sort of a gave me something. It's like an energy that I have within me that, I can tap into. I can go to work, come home, take care of my mom, take care of my business, think about what I'm doing in Liberia, you know, within the same day, without stressing myself. Oh my God, no. It's because I think the groundwork was already laid, and it became part of me.
What inspires you to serve? So you don't only serve here in Brooklyn, but you also serve in Liberia. What
Yes.
inspired you to do that as well?
Well, I think my inspiration came from just my parents. I think my mom was always the kind of person who took care of people when we were growing up. They have family, children living with us, but also my parents that brought me to this country. They were foster parents. They fostered 37 kids, including me, and brought me, knew me from nowhere, brought me to America to give me an opportunity. When you have that kind of blessing, you have to think about, what am I going to do with this? And I think the best thing to do is you can give back. You can give back to people who are in need. And that's what I think I'm trying to do in Liberia with building the clinic, that I can go back. I probably won't be able to do everything for them, but if I can at least teach them that primary care is where people should be. That you be able to take care of yourself for the future. Again, you lay that groundwork. If you can prevent a disease, if you can say, I'm getting somebody, for instance, an HPV vaccine,
Right.
then you are looking to the future to say, I'm preventing that person from getting cervical cancer. And those kind of things I look at, and I just hope I had the money to do more. But I think those kind of prevention effort, where we don't even have that in Liberia, we can't even do pap smear. But if you can vaccinate people, maybe those people might not need to do pap smear in the future. Who knows where we're going with this? But I think it is a start. So I am just, I'm just happy that I was given the opportunity to come to this country to become somebody, and I can go back and and try to help other people who really are in need.
Is there a way that people can also help if they want to support what you're doing in Liberia with the clinic?
Yes. So we are building a website, and we are not done, but when it is done, I will try to put that information out there where people can donate to our cause. We have been doing a lot of work over the years. We started this in 2012, my husband and I, and each time we go back, we do, um, you know, some work. We check people. We have little conferences. We go around the different villages. We take blood pressures, and we teach people that, a lot of them are farmers, that go to your farm early in the morning. Um, when the sun come up, sit down, because your pressure might go up. It might make it worse. And we tell them, go to the doctor, see what they can. They have a clinic there. They can give you some medicine and stuff. So we try to teach them, especially when they are at risk. You take somebody's blood pressure is very high. You take it in the is very high, and they're telling you that they have headaches sometimes, or they have blood pressure sometimes. You know they are at risk. So those people, we try to educate them to at least go on some medication. We make suggestions of what medicine that they can take that will help them with their blood pressure, but yet lowers the side effect. They will not have lower side effects. So, we've been doing this. We feed the kids. People donate clothes to me. I ship it and give it to people who, kids who don't have clothes. So we've been doing a lot of work since 2012.
Since 2012. So
Yeah.
look out. The website is coming soon, and we will be making that information available to all of you as well. Okay. So My last question before we go into like the rapid questions
Yes.
is what is the impact as far as being a woman that has her own business? Like how does that feel to be a woman that's breaking barriers?
But it feels good because, as I said, especially if you're coming from a background of poverty,
Okay.
and it feels good to see you to have risen to a place where you can serve society. And it's not just about money. And I think sometimes people think that you have a business and it's all about the money. When I'm in the laundry and somebody come to do their laundry and they have never done laundry before, they don't even know what the machine is. If I can stand there and show them how to use that machine and have a conversation with them, actually, I use that laundry many times to talk about health.
Oh.
Because I would talk to somebody about, have you had this screening? Have you have a colonoscopy? You can have colonoscopy starting at age 45. You know how you have your pap smear, how you've done this. So it's not just being an entrepreneur. I think I also bring a different aspect of my life in that laundry. And it gave me a lot of happiness to stand there and actually educate people and tell them, go to this hospital. I think they have this program, do this and do that. So being in my position, in that position, I think it's more than just the entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. I think it gives me the ability to also serve my community in a different way.
That's right. How has the community impacted your business?
Well, with a change, it had gotten better. For many years, it was really, really, it was a struggle. It was good that my dad was working there. We just gave him a stopping. But since the change, we have all these, different groups move now into the community. And these people spend their money wherever they want to spend their money.
Right.
And so I get, new faces every day. Mm-hmm. Every day I get somebody who has never been in the laundry before, and they come in. And I make it, if I'm there, I make it my business to introduce myself. And sometimes, that Christmas, I give them a calendar with a pen. And some of them don't take it, the young people.
Yeah.
Well, I have a calendar on my phone. But the older people look forward to this. It's something that they really look forward to, and I enjoy giving it. And I think that, they come to me, to spend their money, and I appreciate that. So I try to become part of the community in that way. Or if they're having black parties, sometimes they may come around and I say, okay, I'll give you 2-3 sacks of water. Or I'll give you, yeah. So, just to let them know I'm here. Mm-hmm. And I'll support you in whatever way I can support you. Okay. Yeah.
Amazing. I feel like I have another question.
Go ahead.
What are the primary startup costs? Because you are right. I'm seeing a lot of people online saying, oh, you should try to get a business that is an essential service that everybody needs. Yes. And I see like laundromat comes up a lot in that conversation.
Yes. Well, when we started the laundromat years ago, it was cheap. The smaller machines that I have, they were about $2,000 each. That was pretty cheap. Now it's up to at least $4,000 for one, for the smaller machine, and then you got the middle machine, and then the triple wash. Those have gone up. I want to say, so it depends. I have from the 17 washers and 12 dryers. Now, 20 years ago, that was less than $100,000.
Wow.
Today, it would be very close for that amount of machines to close to 200,000 just for the machine. And then you need money to build the laundry, which we probably pay at the time maybe 25,000. Now for somebody to build a laundry that size would probably cost you close to $100,000. So we're looking at seed money of maybe close to 400,000 for that size of laundry. Now, if you want a mega laundry,
right,
now you're really talking some heavy duty money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking earlier. One thing I also wanted to make note of was the conversation surrounding like Black ownership, women ownership,
Yeah.
and the difficulties that
Yeah.
also come with that. I will also like to take a bet and say you're probably the only Liberian owns a laundromat as well in Brooklyn, maybe in New
Well,
York.
maybe let's say Bedford, Stuyvesant. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
sure there are other Liberians.
Maybe we just don't know
Yeah,
them.
just don't know because I don't know of an association
Yes.
that I would have been part of and say yes. But it is difficult being a woman to own a business,
Right.
because we come into this as a second class citizen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing. So, and two, I think a lot of time people don't, either they don't take you seriously or they don't recognize that you have the ability to do this. So people will look at you and say, where's the owner? Mm-hmm. And if I say, well, I'm the owner, how can I help you? They'll be like, you the owner? It's like surprised to know that a woman could own a business.
Yes.
It is challenging because in this realm, in this atmosphere, it is challenging for the woman to even get a loan. To walk into a bank and say, I want a loan. So, yes, you may have the criteria, but you may face a little bit of uphill battle just to get that loan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to move to the rapid fire section, which is questions that the first thing that comes to your mind, you just say it.
Okay.
So first, starting off, what is your favorite borough in New York?
Brooklyn. That's where I live.
That's right. That's right. Second, for people who don't know, she also gardens. What is your favorite thing to garden?
Well, I don't have space, so I garden on my roof in the bucket.
Okay. And what's your favorite of all the things that you garden?
There are a lot of African vegetables. Mm-hmm. I plant, palawa sauce, potato greens, cassava leaves. But then I also plant peppers and collard green and some lettuce and stuff. So yeah.
Okay. Favorite season?
I would say spring.
Spring?
Yes.
Okay.
It's too hot in the summer and too cold in the winter.
So spring is a good middle ground.
Good middle ground.
And the last one, what is your favorite Liberian food?
I would want to say potato greens.
Okay. That's up there for me too.
Yeah. Potato greens, yeah.
Potato greens. All right. Thank you so much for speaking with us today. Please stay tuned. We will be posting the information regarding the nonprofit in Liberia.
Thank you so much for giving me the time.
Absolutely.
And to be part of your project.
I'm so excited for everybody to take a look and see.
Thank you.
Now we do.